In this video, we'll take a look at switches and some switch terminology. Now, these are type of switches you would use to add some accessories to a car, or you can possibly wire up a street rod or a dune buggy and add some switches. We'll start off with the most simple of all switches, a regular on-off switch. It only has two tabs or for two wires, and it is either open or closed. But even at this level, we can start looking at some terminology. We'll have one pin that's an in and one pin that's an out. And as far as how many circuits can be controlled or how many inputs, that's called a pole. So this would have a single pole. It only has a single output, so it's called a single through. So pole's number of inputs and throw's number of outputs. So we could refer to this as a simple on-off switch, but the technical term would be a single pole and single throw, or SPST switch. Some other terminology, a lot of times we're talking about the contact box. This is a plastic box, it's often steel box or aluminum box, that holds the switch part, and then the bat, the part that in this case is plastic. It's a relatively inexpensive switch. You can also buy switches with aluminum bats. Alright, let's move on up to the next switch in the food chain. In this case, we're going to look at a switch that has one input, so a single pole, but two outputs. That would be a double throw. So one input, two outputs. And the way it would work is your input would be in the center, and you can alternate the center to either one side or the other. And the way you know what side's going to do what, if you look here, we flip this bat to the up position, and if you can visualize right down the end of this, there's a copper shoe that's spring loaded at the end of this bat. It's connected the center terminal to the edge terminal, the end one here. So just always look at your bat, and it's pointing to the two that will have continuity in that position. Now if I come back this way, then I'll have continuity between the center terminal and this top one. So it's a single pole, double through. This switch also has called center off feature, which we can get to the center, and this shoe will not touch either outside, so it'll be an off position. So this will be used to bring in one input in and two different outputs based on the switch position. And then we move up one more notch. Sometimes you'd like to have one bat, one physical control, but actually have two circuits that you could fuse, or two circuits that you could control. So that's what we have in the switch now, is that we've taken a single pole double through, such as one on the left. We put two of those into a single body and control it with a single switch. But we have two single pole double throw switches. Each one of these electrically are separate. There's actually a plastic or insulator between the two, but they're controlled by a single bat. So this would be called a double input or double pole, and each one's a double throw. So this would be a double pole, double throw, or DP-DT switch. This would be handy for something like a, say, lighting system on like a dune buggy or even a four-wheeler, where you could bring in a fused circuit here, another fused circuit here, then have each one of those two circuits could do, like, you know, highs left and right, lows left and right. That way you could have one fuse on one side could blow and it wouldn't affect the other side, because you obviously wouldn't want to lose all your lights at one if one fuse went. So double pole, double throw. And also make note that you can have these are pretty much backward compatible, meaning I could take this switch and use only one side or the other as a single pole double throw. It'd be just a waste of some resource there. I could even take it all the way down to a single pole single throw by using just a center port, a single the input and out, or the edge here. I could go, you know, several different combinations and get a single pole single throw out of this. One other feature here, this is called a momentary contact. This, when I pull the bat and let go, it springs back. And so a couple of features, we had the center off. We also have momentary, You can also buy these a lot of different configurations as far as the quality of switch. This is relatively inexpensive switch. You can buy them to military specs. You can buy them, waterproof switch with bats that are covered in rubber boot, explosion proof, and depends on the mission that you need to accomplish. But by understanding the switches, it's going to make you able to add some accessories or wire up a custom car very quickly by understanding the terminology and understand how switches work.